for staying, or most of you. Which is the slide which is on? That one. There we go. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about long-tail search today, mainly SEO, but it also applies to SEM. And it's basically about connecting customers to products, services, information in one click. So basically cut down the number of clicks you have to do on a website when you come from search, and find everything faster on the first landing page. I'm going to just have a few case studies. I'm obviously going to talk a little bit about our tool, our company, but it's also just a very different way how to approach SEO and SEM. And I'm going to talk about that. So think about it like Optimizely before A/B testing was mainstream. Optimizely obviously gives you much more data to make decisions on any design changes. And before that, there was probably lots of money spent on design changes. But once you had Optimizely, you could scale that much better and actually get results. So our company does a little bit the same. Same as Optimizely, you could build your own A/B testing tools, but it's probably good if you use a service that's proven and that works. So it's not just about the company. First, I'd like to know a little bit about you. So who works in SEO, SEM specifically? Well, not that many. Who works client side? Agency side and freelancers? Okay. And the rest somewhere else, okay? Just quickly about me. So I worked at Google, it's been a while now, 2004, 2006. I had the privilege of working on some core systems like automated ad reviews, the introduction of quality scores, some really basic concepts back then, and also the first AdWords editor. Then I worked at different client-side agency companies. Maybe out of that, the interesting ones are Neroa, that was the vertical search engine, where I had the luxury of working with a search quality engineer from Google, like an ex-search quality engineer, that obviously gives you some insights and different perspectives on things. And so that was like the Longtail approach 1.0. Worked at Columbus, an agency where I had the privilege of being able to spend $288 cost per click for one client in 1 month, healthcare in June, obviously. But actually still being able to hit a $400 cost per acquisition target, just by also spending a lot of money on long-tail searches, which were way much cheaper. So that was a head term, obviously. And then Longtail UX launched 5 years ago, and yeah, we have now some interesting clients, startups as well as larger companies. So it doesn't actually. So we always talk about this is a big site search, a big site SEO. Doesn't mean you have to be a big brand. It just means when you have a lot of content, you can approach your SEO and your on-site optimization very differently than when you have a small site. Longtail UX, we're Sydney-based, Australian-owned. I'm obviously not Australian, so partly German-owned. And we have clients now in Australia, US, Europe, and Latin America. 1 patent granted, 1 pending, and a few investors, and timeline, well, just the typical startup timeline. So yes, all about connecting customers to products or services in 1 click, and it's like landing page automation for both SEM and SEO. And with the mission, the very small mission to change how the way how the world builds websites or approaches content. Page 2 on Google doesn't really work for anyone. So you want to be in page 1. So long-tail search, what is that actually? So long-tail means you see this graph, you have your head terms, which is the 1 or 2 word combinations. Everyone's bidding on them. Everyone is optimizing for them. It's really hard to get in there. So it could be like bank account, or if it's furniture, it's tables. Or then you have your bit more specific phrases, like best savings account, wooden dinner tables, like a little bit somewhere in the middle, the trunk terms. And then you have your long-term, really very specific and descriptive terms, which is a little bit the holy grail of search. If you can target those, you pay less cost per click on AdWords because there's less competition. You have higher conversion rates because users know exactly what they're searching for if you give them the right content or products. And you have also lower SEO competition because obviously not everyone optimizes for all those long-tail searches. And then with voice search, currently already being, or that was last June, actually last year, so almost a year ago. According to Google, 20% of mobile searches are voice search. It's supposed to be 50% of total global search, like any device, by 2020, which is, well, it's 1.5 years ago, 2 years away. So with that, by definition, long-tail search is going to be much, much more important, obviously, because it's semantic search. People talk to their phones, they ask questions. So this is much more fun when there's many more SEO specialists in the room and more SEO agencies. So the traditional way how we've been taught to approach the long-tail search is in many ways not very efficient. When you work in SEO, we've all done that. We've written SEO text to rank, and then we put the text at the bottom of the page because we know no one actually wants to read it. We just use it to rank, to get the page up there, but it's not actually what the user wants. Like if you search for a specific product, you don't want to read like a big text about that product. Site-wide changes, they're important sometimes, but it's also very hard to measure ROI. And when you have a big site, let's say you have 10,000 pages, 100,000 pages, any structural change you make, internal linking, menus, renaming things, you might win something somewhere, but you might lose a lot as well. So there's always a high risk to actually lose rankings when it comes to SEO. And AdWords, product listings ads, and dynamic search ads, especially the product listings ads, is a very nice way for AdWords, for paid search, as an agency to automate things, get a product feed, automate the ads, client pays you a fee. You don't have to do actually that much once you set it up. But the problem is you always land users on a single product. So imagine like your, 65-inch TV on Kogan. They have 20. So, but you land on one page. You click on the ad and you land on this one TV. You don't even see the other 19. So you're actually hiding a lot of other relevant content. So what we basically realized was, basically 10 years ago already, and many others obviously too, is all what the users really want to do is they want to have all the most relevant information on one page. All the most relevant products, all the most relevant whatever. If someone searches for 65-inch TV in Sydney, they also want to have the store information. Where's the nearest store? What's the opening hours? Or what's the shipping rates to Sydney? All the information there. And if you land on a landing page, and especially in 2018, you have to piece all this information together from different parts of the website. That's friction. So you basically lose, your bounce rates will go up, your conversion rates will go down. So if you get all that on one page, obviously that's what the user wants, ideally. And really Google also wants that. Because what really Google wants is they want to show the most relevant information. They don't really care whether your site is built on, whatever server you're using, whatever framework you're using, React. Now everything is rebuilt in React. Like they don't really care as long as it's crawlable, so they can index it and then they can present the most relevant content for users for searches. That's all they want really. Well, in marketers they want more transparency if they can have it, and less risk and effort also. So just imagine a platform which could identify all those long-tail search keywords, could create landing pages with the best matching products, services, information, any type of content for every single one of those keywords on one landing page at scale. And then automatically integrate all these new pages into an existing website. So you don't actually need to change the website. You don't need to restructure it. There's no risk actually that you go down in rankings. And most importantly, not just for AdWords. In AdWords, it's very easy to measure your ROI, your cost per acquisition, your cost per lead, whatever your target is. But in SEO, it's really hard. But imagine if a solution could actually make the ROI 100% measurable. And let's say you spend $1,000 a month, and you know exactly how much you get for that. All that other stuff as well. So basically, we build a platform which allows you to manage SEO like AdWords. It does not replace link building. It doesn't replace building amazing content, having great product, everything else. But it solves like a very specific problem at a very large scale and helps you manage that very, very, with a lot of control. So that system helps customers find exactly what they were searching for in one click and for every single search query. So these are just some examples of some clients. The one is not that great here in that format, but let's say a Dog Beauty foundation without SPF is something very specific. Apparently you need that when you have a wedding and you have photos and you don't want that to reflect. I learned that. Lots of people search for that, but when you go onto normal websites, you go onto foundation page, and then you have to scroll, and you have to read, and you actually have to figure out whether they have sun protection factor or not, and if they reflect. But imagine you just land on the page, and that website would have not actually ranked even for that before, because Google didn't know, because all those products are somewhere on the different foundation, like somewhere hidden within that section. Or Lockup Garage for rent, Sydney Eastern Suburbs. One of our clients, Spacer, is an awesome startup. They offer, they were actually on TV the other day, so you can put your storage space on there. Any space you have at home, which you don't use, like a garage or like a parking spot, or lockup garage in that case, you can put it on there as peer-to-peer marketplace. But Lockup Garage for rent, Sydney Eastern Suburbs, that landing page wouldn't have existed. You go on there, you search for Sydney, then you have to look at what's a lockup garage. Then Eastern Suburbs actually doesn't exist because it's not a postcode, so you have to aggregate that somewhere. So our solution basically shows that on one landing page. And then shipping from Canada to Melbourne is a bit small. That's pack and send. Before, they obviously ship from Canada to Melbourne and vice versa, and they're obviously different kinds of things you can ship. But again, you wouldn't have that information on one page. So that system basically makes sure that creates those landing pages dynamically from existing content. And delivers pretty awesome results, and they're all measurable in client analytics. And all this is actually revenue, leads, or whatever it is. So Grace Online is revenue, Adobe Beauty revenue, Latam Auto, no, Adobe Beauty is actually traffic, sorry. Latam Autos, all the others, they are revenue or leads or whatever it is. So really high uplifts directly from those new pages. So just a few case studies. And just maybe think about outside of our platform. You don't have to use our platform to do something like that. You can actually think about that on your own website or on your clients. Just look at what are your users actually searching for. Try to group those searches into topics like services or location specific, and then think of what have you there as available content you can use to answer those questions. And then you can actually build some of those pages yourself. You can automate some of that yourself. The one thing you don't want to do is create a page with, let's say you have 20 services and there's, 20,000 postcodes in Australia. You probably don't want to build 400,000 landing pages, one service per postcode. That doesn't really work because you water down your page authority and all of that. So then you have to be a little bit more intelligent and think what are your main locations, what are the main services, and you maybe just build 500 pages. But it can give you a massive uplift for those. And more importantly, actually a high conversion rate. So our platform, QFAQs, is an aggregator of online courses, and they obviously compete with all the .edu, so it's really hard to actually get any SEO traffic. So the challenge was, competing with .edu, .gov websites, and in AdWords also competing with their own providers. So they list products or services, online courses from open universities or from like large universities. They spend $10 million on AdWords. So it's really hard for them to actually compete. And near zero chance on head terms. But they have had lots of assets. So good domain authority is always good. Lots of courses, actually more courses than any one of their partners, obviously, because they aggregate them. And also hundreds of career content pages. So what we did is we identified 6,000 Longtail keywords in that case, and then created a landing page template where we looked at all the different assets on the template to get them on there, and then answer thousands, like these 6,000 different ways of searching for courses for different locations, in different industries. Basically, for every single one of them, had one landing page answering that question. And so the results was really fast, most of all, but also we quadrupled their leads from SEO within 3 months. And even more important, and that's really important also, whenever you do something like that on your website, always look at your bounce rates, always look at your pages per session, like duration of the user on the site, because Google looks more and more at that. It's not just about the traffic. You actually want to provide a user experience. If you don't provide a good user experience, same as with the reviews, right? Like, be real. Just solve a problem and don't think about just the hack. It's quite short-lived if you just think about the hack. So we also provide savings in AdWords because obviously every single keyword we had for AdWords, we did 50,000 landing pages, because for AdWords, Google doesn't care. As long as you don't index the pages, you can have 1 million landing pages. So one-to-one relationship, keyword to landing page. And yeah, so there's further opportunity. Unfortunately, I can't click on any of those links, but if you search, and this is a little bit not so beautiful, that screenshot, that's the search for example, accredited nutrition courses, Australia, and that's actually the same site. I just couldn't have the full length. So on top you have the courses, and at the bottom you have related articles. So we're basically using all the different assets, whatever is most relevant on the site for that keyword. If we don't find enough relevant, if the system doesn't find enough relevant content, we don't target the keyword. That's also important. Just don't try to build fake pages. Grace Online, largest industrial and commercial online auction business in Australasia. They've been around for quite a while, mainly, maybe you know them from wine auctions, maybe industrial auctions. I'm not sure if you, I think they had a minesweeper the other day, if you auction minesweepers, the ship. So they have like a really wide range of products. And the problem is also like every change on the website meant a massive risk because they actually have a lot. It's like a plane in flight. Like there's actually a risk when you change structure. So that's why they like to work with us, because we added pages on. We didn't change the existing structure, like things that have changed before. And despite the strong brand, and they had 1 million pages indexed in Google just through how their site was built, they actually had not a lot of generic keyword traffic. But yeah, lots of assets, lots of products, all the time changing, supposedly what Google likes. Lots of, like, there was product descriptions, many categories, and they had a really good domain authority. So we identified 50,000 long-tail keywords. In that case, we basically added 5% to the website volume. It's not a lot when you think about it. 50,000 pages is a lot, but not when you already have 1 million pages indexed. And then contextually link them within the website. The system does that. And that's what you also always have to do. If you build those landing pages, and if you want to rank for SEO, don't just build, let's say, 500 new landing pages. They're relevant, they're really nice. Having a link in the footer doesn't work anymore. You actually have to link them from within your website. So Google actually looks at, is this just landing pages that live in isolation? You have a link in the website, goes to a sitemap, you won't rank. It works for AdWords, for paid search, if you use that as landing pages, but not to actually rank. So you actually have to make sure not only having the good landing pages, you also want to link them really well contextually within the website. Yeah, results, again, as I said before, pretty good uplift. Just last month, we actually had the biggest month ever again for them. So it keeps growing. They've been with us for 4 years. And then there's further opportunities. Reviews, actually. We love reviews because they're unique content. They're really, really good for the user. So you have your products. And if you have reviews which are either location-specific or product-specific, our system actually pulls reviews up as well. Because not only you have content which Google loves and you rank, it helps converting. So reviews are awesome. Especially also you have limited amount of products, but you get more reviews over time, more and more. So yeah, fits really well together. Yeah, so this is just an example of a landing page. King size gas lift storage bed. It's like a very specific query, obviously. Sometimes they have more, sometimes they have less. That's a little bit their challenge because it's an auction site. They basically just buy from different businesses. They go out of business, or if there's too much stock somewhere, they get all those products. I think Mondays they have a lot of products. On Thursdays the auction ends, so it goes up and down. So what we had to develop then was to show the most relevant products, but also to show related products. Because otherwise, if you only show here we have, I think it's two products which match every single word. If you only show 2, it doesn't really work that well. Also, as a user, you actually want related products because maybe I don't know. Maybe you're happy with a double bed, or you just want a deal. So it actually works for the user as well. Then pack and send. So this concept does not only work for products where you have lots of listings, it also works for services. And that's what we only realized after a while. Because for someone like Pack and Send, they have lots of services. You can send anything. I think they call it, Flav? James Norkie, can you help me out? What are Flav products? It's something about fragile, large, awkward, and something. So like they're specialized in very specific products. Like you can send a piano, you can send artwork, you can send automotive parts. They're specialized in lots of stuff. But you don't really see this on the website, on the landing pages with locations. But people actually they search for that. I want to send my bike from Sydney to Melbourne. How much does it cost? So again, lots of services. We identified that they have service stations across the country. So again, what we did, what are the assets? Where are the assets? Yeah, sorry, 100 service stations, locations Australia-wide, different service types, national, international destinations, good domain authority, targeted 500 keywords, not that lot actually, but 70% uplift on SEO. Bookings, which is a lot for them. And savings in AdWords again. So same concept, just look at how do people search for it, what do you have, and how can you bring that together in a scalable way. And that's really the difference in like small site SEO and large site optimization. On a small website, you don't have the luxury. You actually have to really worry about, you have 10 pages, you have to make each of them perfect. You have to write longer text. You have to link building, like without link building or PR actually. PR is the best link building you can get if you can get PR links. You have to worry about that. But once you actually have a large site, you can make like a very small change. We have one customer, they have car listings. Just by adding an attribute like the type of the car onto every one of the listings pages, not just having it somewhere in the description, but actually like show it, you suddenly get lots of more traffic for all the different, I don't know, sedan searches or people mover, all of that. So big site search is really thinking about large scale, not just small changes. Yeah, again, so this is courier to China from Sydney. So there's like a China-related text. We have express courier-related text. You have all the listings. You don't see them there. When you scroll down, you basically have all the matching service centers from Sydney, actually in order by what's nearest to you. So you can pick all of that up. So this is our landing page template. Again, when it's bicycle shipping from in Australia, it's again, you have the Australia-wide listings. You have that's freight and parcels. Yeah, within Australia, and then you have your bicycle specific rates. So it's all the most relevant content on there. That's the whole idea. And we rank quite well. Obviously, you can never guarantee position 1, but you get good positions. Last one, semi-nervous, again, car marketplace in Latin America. It's basically the car sales of Mexico, semi-nervous. They're the market leader, but they were actually only the market leader because semi-nervous means used cars, and they were ranking really well for those. But anything outside of used car combinations, they were actually not really that good. Lots of listings, 150,000 listings, that's a lot. And then they have average prices for thousands of makes and models. They have thousands of car reviews, again, reviews. And news, so I have lots of assets. Again, targeted 20,000 pages. Before they had 250,000 pages indexed, so less than 10% increase, and we're now delivering what's now is a 3 times increase in total SEO traffic within 7 months on generic keywords. So now we're delivering close to 20% of the entire website traffic through those new pages. Same thing again, what are the assets? How do people search? How do you match that? So that's just for anyone who speaks Spanish. That's the double cabin ute used in Puebla. It's a location, and you basically just have all the most relevant results. Questions? Yes, please. Sorry.
Have any questions?
So Google Panda targets
Yes.
thin, low content, like eBay got de-indexed pretty hard. How do you avoid that?
By having great content and by not overdoing it as well. So basically Google Panda, I always say that I'm pretty sure I read it somewhere, but you can't read it on the web. What Google Panda did is basically, the first thing they did is they added like a link decay factor, which means before you could have lots of internal links and create 1 million pages out of nothing, and just because of internal links, you could almost multiply your link authority coming from external with internal linking. When Google then introduced a link decay factor, basically when you get like lots of links on the homepage, the link just trickling down actually from every link further reduces. So you can't actually do this anymore now. Even if you wanted to, if we created 1 million pages, they just wouldn't rank. So it's almost, we love Google Panda because it basically keeps you honest. Like, there's no problem. As long as you don't, if you add 5% to the whole volume, and if you make sure that it's actually useful content and low bounce rates, high conversion rates, no problem at all.
Any other questions?
Good point.